Hi there, I'm David from DB Chartered Accountants. No matter what type of business that you operate, if you're going to have employees, then you'll have to contend with the payroll taxes referred to as PAYE. If you are trading as a limited company, then also remember that the directors are also employees and their wages must be processed under PAYE. This video will give you some help and guidance in the rules and regulations of HMRC with regard to wages and salaries. As an employer, you not only have to collect and remit PAYE to the collector of taxes on behalf of HMRC, you also must operate the statutory sick pay scheme and the statutory maternity pay scheme. You're required to run the PAYE scheme in accordance with the legislation. And should you fail to comply correctly, then HMRC will look to you as the employer for the tax and national insurance that you have failed to deduct. Now this can be costly as you may not be able to recover any of this from the employee. So, do you in fact have employees? Whether an individual is an employee or not in a particular situation is a question of fact, depending upon the terms on which he works for you. The question of whether an individual is employed or self-employed is very important for the businesses that are employing them, as that business has to comply with the reporting requirements if in fact they are dealing with somebody that's an employee. The businesses using the service of an individual can't simply treat them as being self-employed simply because they say they are. Or even if they can prove that they report to HMRC as being self-employed, a generally self-employed person can still be considered to be your employee if the facts relating to your relationship are more akin to an employment than to self-employment. Business owners, therefore, must be very cautious in this regard. HMRC has devoted a lot of time and attention on reclassifying individuals claiming to be self-employed. There is no doubt that they would much prefer to have someone considered to be an employee than a self-employed person. The tax and national insurance that they get from an employee is much higher than what they would get from a self-employed person. They also get the tax sooner and with less effort. If you treated someone as self-employed, and subsequently, after a routine visit from HMRC, it's clear that they should have been treated as employees, then the tax and national insurance which should have been paid will be assessed upon the employer. Therefore, it's important to ensure when using the services of self-employed people, make sure that they are in fact self-employed. If doubt exists as to the status of an individual, the situation can be clarified with HMRC. HMRC also provide an interactive software tool to help employers and workers which act as a general guide. You can access this by doing an online search at www.uk/employment-status-indicator. The operation of PAYE and real-time information. Nowadays, most businesses use computerized systems to deal with their payroll. Whilst this is something that they can do for themselves, the cost of the software and the detailed knowledge needed relating to payroll usually leads to business owners outsourcing such work to someone else. Most of our clients have us do their payroll for them as it's simply uneconomic for them to do it themselves. Online submission of payroll details is required under the Real-Time Information System, often referred to as RTI. This has to be done for each payroll cycle. Needless to say, this is more expensive in your time or anyone else's doing your wages if they are done weekly rather than monthly. The processing wheel has to go around 4 or 5 times more a month for weekly wages than they do for monthly. Thus it pays you to do wages monthly rather than weekly if you possibly can. Where there are 9 or fewer employees, you can use HMRC's basic PAYE tools, which can be downloaded from the HMRC website. These, however, are not as good as commercial packages, and our experience of clients using them is that they often get themselves into a bit of a tangle with it. Thus, using this is not something that I would personally recommend. Any tax and national insurance should be paid over to HMRC by the 19th of the month following that in which the salaries are paid. To this must be added tax deducted under the construction industry scheme if you pay subcontractors and you operate within the construction industry. Thus, for example, for the tax month ended the 5th of June, the tax and national insurance contributions should be paid over to HMRC by the 19th of June. Under RTI, employers have to tell HMRC how much tax, national insurance and other deductions are deducted as they process the wages and salaries. HMRC thus know how much is due to them and when it should be paid. You will incur penalties and interest charges if you are late in making the payments. At the end of each tax year, employers have to provide each employee with a Form P60, advising them of their total pay for the year and the amount of tax that's been deducted. If someone leaves at your employment, then you should provide them with a P45, advising them of similar details. Pensions Auto Enrolment. Pensions legislation require all employers to provide a pension scheme for their employees. This is called auto enrolment and is an obligation for all businesses, with the exception of one-man band limited companies. New businesses are required to auto-enroll relevant employees as at the date that the business makes its first payment to them. There are a number of exceptions and additional procedures required in this process, and you would benefit from help and assistance from someone who knows what they are doing. Again, we nearly always do this for all our startup businesses. For automatic enrolment, there are minimum contributions that the employers must pay in order to comply with their obligations. These are a percentage of the earnings. Currently, these rates are 3%, that is payable by the employer, and a further 5% has to be paid by the employee. I would expect that these rates will increase as the years go by. Workers may also pay additional pension contributions, which must then be deducted from their pay and paid to the scheme on time. Employees may, if they wish, opt out. If they do, then employers must stop making deductions of contributions and arrange a refund of contributions they may have overpaid by that date. Benefits in kind. In most businesses, the directors and often the employees have benefits that are not immediately taxed through the PAYE system. The most usual being the provision of a company car or a van and possibly fuel. Other common items are the private medical insurance and interest on beneficial loans if a director overdraws their loan account with the company. The employer is liable to Class 1A national insurance contributions, which are due on the taxable value of the benefits in kind. And these contributions are due on the 19th of July following the fiscal year in which the benefits are made available. This is done by means of completing a form called a Form P11D. This is another task that usually gets delegated to us by our clients. Payroll software. If you plan to operate and process your own employee payroll, I would strongly recommend that you use the same software package that your accountant uses. Thus, whenever you have problems and issues, then you can turn to your accountant, who are then better placed to help you. There are, of course, various software packages available, including the free software from HMRC Basic PAYE tools mentioned earlier. However, going out on a limb and making your own choice may make it difficult for you to get help should you get yourself into a mess. Operating a payroll system can be complex and time-consuming, which usually leads business owners to pass the job on, as there is usually a lot better uses of their time than struggling with wages. Should you need any help and assistance with your payroll, or indeed anything else, please don't hesitate to contact us at help@deb-accountants.co.uk or telephone us on 01226 245824. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get notification whenever we upload new videos. Bye for now.